to the side advantage. The Hounds are going to struggle against her. And
Just go back in the game now. Michael Tucker
should have been a foul call.
Marcus is wide open.
Hey, what's up, Loyola, and welcome to the Sixth Man Report. I'm your host, Rob Fredrickson, and joining me is my co-host, Brendan Highland. As we wrap this school year up, we want to give you a recap of the sports that ended this semester. Let's start with the men's basketball team. They finished with a record of 15-15 and 9-8 in the MAC. Solid season. However, they ended with a loss to St. Peter's College in the MAC tournament. But St. Peter's was the team that ended up being in the NCAA tournament, so they obviously did
losing to a good team.
Exactly, so they did deserve it. But throughout the season, the Hounds did notch a big win over Fairfield on ESPNU, and this propelled them on a 3-game win streak. That probably was the highlight of their season. The Hounds benefited all season long from strong play from forwards Shane Walker and Eric Etherly. They each averaged 10 points and 7 rebounds per game. Walker was also named to the All-MAC third team this season. Congratulations to him. But let's also mention guards Jared Hall and Justin Drummond. Jared Hall was named the 6th Man of the Year for the MAC, and Justin Drummond was named to the All-MAC rookie first team. Both players played very well this season. The team is looking very strong for next year as they lose only 2 seniors, Jamal Barney and Brian Rudolph. Big losses, but I think the team will survive. The Hounds are adding to the team, bringing in 3 big freshmen this next year. So hopefully they can add some nice talent to the team, and we'll see how they progress throughout their 4 years.
Right, and they have a good core nucleus coming back of guys. You mentioned Jared and Justin, and Shane will be back too, and Eric. So that's 4 guys right there that we just mentioned that are coming back next year. Right. Going with 3 more and some other young guys that we didn't mention. So I think that we should be excited about next year's team.
I think we should too, and Brendan and I were just talking before the show that we weren't happy with the fan support this year. So, guys, we really got to get out there and support the team. We're going to have a good season next year. I'm guaranteeing it. Basketball team, don't let me down.
And even if basketball isn't your thing, you should go anyway just to watch Coach Patsos. He's the most animated character on a sideline I've ever seen in my life. He's well worth the price of free admission.
Very entertaining to see Coach Patsos. Very good coaching style, I guess. Let's move on to the women's team, because they weren't the only team that made some noise in the campus this year.
Right.
Why don't you tell us about that, Brendan?
Well, the women's team, Rob, they had a great season. They went 21-13. They started off the year a little shaky, started 0-5, but they got it together. They had a great conference record, 15-3, and at one point in the season, they won 9 straight games. I mean, 9 straight. That's impressive. And that propelled them into the postseason, where in the MAC tournament, they went 2-1 before losing in the finals to Marist. But following this, Rob, we got big news that the girls' team was invited to the NIT.
That was awesome.
It was very exciting, and the Lady Hounds won the first game of the NIT at Old Dominion in an exciting 67-65 game. The second round, however, saw the Lady Hounds lose to Virginia, but still, losing to Virginia ACC team, not bad. The team benefited all season from a strong nucleus of Alyssa Sutherland, Meredith Tolley, Erica DiClemente, Katie Sheehan, and Marianne McKenzie. And Rob, these 5 ladies only combined to miss 2 starts all season.
That is unbelievable.
That rapport right there, in my opinion, is what made this team so good.
Yeah, sometimes it takes some senior leadership and some experience, and those girls definitely brought it to this team.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why we had such a great season.
Absolutely. And Marianne was named to the All-MAC first team, while Katie and Erica were named to the All-MAC second team. Those are great honors for those girls.
Yep.
Miriam was second in the conference in scoring. Katie led the team in assists, steals, and blocks, and had a career high in points with 28 against Iona. And Erica had 388 points and upped her career total to 1,114 to end the season, 12th all-time on the Greyhounds' career scoring list. The Lady Hounds lose 3 players at graduation, but they're still very optimistic about next season because they have all this talent coming back, and they're trying to build on a good season.
Yeah, I mean, they might not be as strong as they were this season, losing that senior leadership. But like you said, just having a good season like this could bring in some recruits, and hopefully the team has another successful season like they did.
And the team should just be very confident based off of what they did. They just had this great season. Why not be optimistic? Why settle for anything less than what we just achieved? It's building blocks.
Exactly, and this is how you build a mid-major school up. And women's team, you did a great job, Lady Greyhounds, and thank you for bringing some success to our sports program. Now we're going to move into men's lacrosse. The team has been having a solid season thus far. The Greyhounds are in the ECAC tournament, which begins this Thursday. They are entering with a record of 8-4 And they are 4-2 in the highly competitive conference. The ECAC is a very good conference, if you guys know the teams that are in there. The Hounds had won 5 straight before losing to number 2 ranked arch rival Johns Hopkins this past weekend, 8-7. That was a tough game, Brendan. I mean, playing at Hopkins is always tough.
But I give it to the guys who play hard. They left it all on the field, and as a student and a fan, I appreciate that very much. I know those guys would have loved to win. We all would have loved to see it, but the effort was there, and I give them credit for that.
We could just thank the team for always being as good as they are every
Right,
year.
yeah, for sure.
Well, winning that game would have actually boosted the team's resume in the eyes of the selection committee, which would have been nice because the team isn't really locked up for that spot yet, which is unfortunate.
Right.
But if they do win the ECAC tournament, they will lock up the NCAA tourney. Or if they get an at-large bid, which is questionable right now.
Right.
The team is the 3 seed in the tournament, and they will be taking place on the campus of Denver University, where they will play Fairfield in the semifinals on Thursday. If they advance, the championship game will be on Saturday at ESPNU. Hopefully they do advance so we can catch that game on TV.
And the team and the boys, they already beat Fairfield once this season. I believe the score was 7-6 in overtime. So I think that they should have a little confidence going in that game. They just played Hopkins close. They had won 5 straight before that. Hopkins is a good team, and they played him one goal.
Ranked 2 in the nation.
That's
pretty crazy.
Yeah, I would be very confident going into the tournament if I was the boys.
They've been getting great play out of their senior and co-captain, Matt Langdon, who's having an outstanding season. He has 31 points while shooting 35%. That's pretty great. In recent breaking news, just today, 3 players have earned all ECAC honors. Senior defender Steve Dirks and sophomore attack Mike Sawyer earned first-team honors, while senior faceoff specialist John Chavone was named to the second team. Congratulations to those guys. It seems like Loyola is just racking up the conference honors this year.
Yeah, and I saw, I wish I would have known that yesterday. I saw Sawyer at Chipotle. I mean, he probably doesn't know who I am, but I would have said congratulations anyway.
Well, this breaking news just came out today.
Yeah, so maybe if I see you next week, I'll let you know. Congratulations.
Brendan, why don't you tell us about the women's lacrosse team?
All right, so on the flip side, the Loyola's women's lacrosse team, they've been having a spectacular season. The Lady Hounds right now are 14-2. They're 6-2 in the Big East and are unbeaten on the road. That's impressive. That's very impressive. Like the men, the women entered the Big East tournament as the 3 seed and will take on Syracuse, a team who unfortunately just beat the Hounds this past Friday. Similar to the men, if the team advances, they will play in the championship on Saturday. The Big East tournament is being held at Georgetown, and Loyola checks in at the number 9 spot in the IWLCA, which is the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Association, it's a mouthful, coaches poll, which was released on Monday, and 8th in the De Beers Inside Lacrosse Media Rankings going into the tournament. The Hounds have put themselves in great shape to make the NCAA tournament, regardless of how they do in the conference tournament. And Rob, I think that that's very important. They did their work when they needed to.
Yep.
So, they didn't...
We see in college basketball and, college football teams that get those, mostly in college basketball because of the system they have in football, but getting those at-large bids are extremely important. You don't really have to be as nervous going into the conference championship. So, it's not... for the guys' team, it's kind of depending on that conference championship. For the women, it seems like they already locked it up.
Exactly. And, one big reason why they locked it up, Rob, is senior and Tewaaraton finalist Grace Gavin. She is having an outstanding season. The Tewaaraton, for those of you who don't know, is essentially the Heisman for college lacrosse. And we know how prestigious that fraternity is for the Heisman. Well, for college lacrosse, the Tewaaraton is,
very impressive.
Yeah. So Grace, she set the Loyola career record for points scored on Sunday in the Hounds' 17-10 victory over UConn. She entered the game needing 4 points to break the record, and she made pretty quick work of it. She scored 3 goals and assisted on another in the first 10 minutes of the game. And she tied the record with an unassisted goal at the 22:59 mark, and she then broke the mark with an assist on a Taryn Vanhoff goal at the 20-minute mark. Grace now has 293 points on 217 goals and 76 assists. She eclipsed the mark of 288 set by Stacey Morlang from 1999 to 2002. Rob, those numbers are off the charts.
I wouldn't be surprised if she goes down as the greatest women lacrosse player ever to play at Loyola, because it's unbelievable that she's up for the Tewaaraton, I believe it's called, and the fact that she's breaking all these records. Congratulations to Grace Gavin. She's been an unbelievable athlete at this school for 4 years now, and I've been here for 3. And I've witnessed it every single year.
I'm pretty sure I saw today that this is her 3rd straight season of over 50 50 goals, and that's very impressive,
Very
and that's
impressive.
not anything to be taken lightly.
Simply said, she is dominating women's college lacrosse.
Absolutely.
Now let's get into some other Loyola D1 sports. The men's golf team is actually just came back from an exciting trip from Disney World. Yeah, Disney World. But they came from Magnolia Golf Course, and that's no fun, that golf course, let me tell you. They went to go defend their MAC championship. However, it wasn't just defending one. They were going to make 4 titles in a row. And if you didn't know already, they were successful. Alex Redfern, the team's senior leader, actually became the first golfer in Loyola's history to win 4 MAC titles in 4 years. The Greyhounds finished the tournament with a 3-round total of 895, topping Iona's 908 and Sienna's 909. Loyola led the event wire to wire, but going into Sunday's final round, they only held a 2-stroke lead, and eventually we know that they pulled it out in the end. So basically, the men's team is very good for next year, and they haven't lost anybody, and they have now won 13 MAC titles, and that's the most in any school. So the men's team is pretty impressive, and they are every single year. I don't think they get a lot of recognition.
Yeah, I think that it's safe to say that Loyola's men's lacrosse is dominating the MAC.
Men's golf.
Men's golf. Sorry, I apologize. Men's golf. They're dominating the MAC. I mean, 4 in a row. That's very impressive.
And I think we're only losing senior Alex Redfern, maybe one more senior. But the team is strong, and every year.
I know they got some good freshmen. My sweet mate Cameron Liebert. Shout out to Cam 310B. But they're looking forward to next season. Those guys they're ready to go. They're very excited. He was telling me today that they think that they could be just as good, if not better, next season.
That's great news. And why don't you tell us how the tennis team is making history?
Well, making history, that's what we do here at Loyola. And tennis coach Rick McClure, he captured his 600th victory this season. That, Rob, is very impressive.
It's up there with the top names in sports. Any collegiate coaches, you don't see much coaches with 100 victories. 600, that's impressive.
It's incredible. And, Coach McClure, he's done this with more than 30 seasons of experience here at Loyola. 30 seasons? That's like almost, well, not really, but I mean, like, we haven't even been alive for 30 years.
I believe it's 32, the exact number.
Like, that's a long time. But Coach McClure, he's already been inducted into Loyola's Athletic Hall of Fame. And as for the teams themselves, both have just suffered tough losses in Flushing, Queens in the MAC championships on April 20th, which is unfortunate. But both teams had solid seasons. They're looking to grow on their performance. Yep. So I think that they're, looking forward to next season.
Yeah, I mean, and they still have a lot of hopes for next season because they have their 2 number 1s returning, and J. Pierce Norton for the men's team and Rachel Janicek for the women's team. So both teams are still strong. I don't know if they're losing any seniors, but at least they have the 2 top people.
Yeah.
And, very impressive season for most Loyola sports. We're a mid-major team, so for those of you who think we're not a big conference team or a big athletic school, you're wrong. You need to start getting out to the games and start supporting those teams.
Those teams need the fan support. And I hear all the time on these games, we have no school spirit, we have no school spirit. Well, that's because we don't go to the games. If we went to the games, we can make a difference to these teams.
I think
and
too.
those 1-point basketball games or those 1-point lacrosse games, who knows? Those might become wins. The players feed off energy from the fans. And
I agree completely.
I saw that in my first ever lacrosse game that I experienced was here this season when we played Army. And as soon as the crowd got involved, the team played great. We ended up winning the game.
So you heard Loyola. We need some more fan support at all the athletic events. Unfortunately, we know the year is coming to the end. We have finals, and then we're going home for the summer. So this is the last episode of the 6-Man Report for the year. But we will be back in the fall, and we expect you to be here also. Have a great summer, Loyola, and we'll see you in the fall.